Hello, my name's Lisa, and if this is your first time here, then thank you very much for choosing to click on this video. If you are a returning subscriber, then just know that I really do appreciate you. Now, today's video is going to be something quite different. It is going to be a video of Jessie Lee Ward, but maybe in a way that you've never seen her before. It's not about her cancer journey, and it's also nothing to do with her training. No, today, shockingly, she is on a podcast. Well, you may say that's nothing new because you've seen her on a podcast before, but believe me, you have never seen her on an anti-mlm podcast, have you? And when she started making this video, she didn't know she was on an anti-mlm podcast either. So what happened? Well, her assistant read an email inviting her to a podcast, and let's just say they didn't look into it too much and agreed to do it. So the podcast Jessie Lee is on is called the Dream Podcast. It doesn't come out until September, but what the host didn't know was that Jessie Lee was recording the podcast, and so this is how I found out about it on her Facebook. The podcaster, Jane Marie, didn't know it was being recorded, but she does now. So let's dive in and see how Jessie Lee copes when she figures out that she's on an anti-mlm podcast. So as you can imagine, at the beginning, she's all happy and relaxed and enjoying the podcast. Then she finds out it's an anti-mlm podcast, and her demeanour and her attitude change radically. And if that's not good enough for you, then the podcaster, Jane, mentions a name from Jessie Lee's past. And oh wow, her attitude changes even more at this point. So stay tuned to find out what happened.
We're going to talk about coaching and a little bit about MLMs and stuff today. But I just wanted to let you know before we get started here that if there's a question you don't want to answer or don't have an answer to or don't know what I'm talking about, we can just move right on.
Okay.
If I get to any corner of this.
I'm pretty open, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah. Thank you, though.
I love this beginning part where Jane sets down the rules of engagement, so to speak. And Jessie Lee says she's pretty open. I wonder how open she'll be when she finds out it's an anti-mlm podcast.
So I think maybe you've been briefed a little bit about our show, but we did like a very deep dive into MLMs one season, a deep dive into wellness one season, kind of looking at things from all sides, somewhat regulatory, and then some experiential first-person stuff. Like this season, we're talking about coaching, so I got a coach. And it's been going great.
Everybody should have a coach, but I guess we'll probably talk about that.
Is there anybody watching that thinks they should have a coach? I don't think I should have a coach.
This is what I hear.
Yes.
This is what I hear. I live in LA. I'm not there right now, but yeah, everyone is a coach in LA, so it's very easy to find one. So can you just tell me, as we get started, give me your name and a little about yourself and what you're doing these days?
Sure. So I'm Jessie Lee Ward. Some people know me as bosslee or the people's mentor, but at any rate, so I do a lot of things, sure, but I am the #1 network marketer in the world.
You're the #1 networker in the world, according to you. I've never seen any proof of that anywhere at any time.
I also have an education company where I do coach entrepreneurs how to build and scale their businesses. And I'm a dog mom, most importantly. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just a serial entrepreneur, really. And I guess that's the easiest way to say it. And then I'll let you take the conversation wherever you'd like to.
So what does number one network marketer in the world mean, or how do you measure that?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, that I know of, at least reported, I'm the highest earner in network marketing.
If you do a simple Google search of who is the highest reported network marketer in the world, well, the name Jessie Lee Ward doesn't even feature. Did you know that?
Which is how some people would say is the most important. I actually don't think that's the most important metric to measure something like that. I think it's more important to pay attention to the influence that somebody has. So I'm on all of the biggest stages and have been now for 6 years straight. So I have a lot of influence over the actual profession itself.
You made that sound like you're the only network marketer who gets up on big stages. But that's not the case, is it? There were plenty of other top network marketers who get on big stages and get invited to do events and coach people, aren't there?
Also involved in the DSN, which no other reps in the entire world are actually involved in. So this is only for CEOs. And they bring me in to teach and train and coach and have some impact as well from the CEO side, so on the corporate side. And then I guess I'm just kind of really well known, so that could also just be where that comes from. But I'm sort of the face of the profession, so I think that's where that comes from.
You may be well known in the multi-level marketing industry, but you're not actually well known, are you? Until I became an anti-mlm creator, I'd actually never heard of you, and many people I know have still never heard of you. So you're not that well known, really, are you?
Where did you get, have you always been like this? Did you want to be president growing up or anything like that? I find that a lot of people who who make it big in some field have just been born that way.
I never wanted to be president. I wanted to be a doctor for a little bit, and then I wanted to be a geologist a lot. I think that's my antisocial introvert showing. I liked rocks more than people. No, I'm kidding. I love people now, but I'm selective with my people, right? I wasn't selective about my rocks. No. I was always different. I would say that's a given. I was different. I was somebody who liked to control more things than maybe other people did. I also liked to push the status quo a lot, and I knew that I was just somebody who was I could pace myself differently. I was definitely a self-starter, always was. So I had that entrepreneurial thing about me. Leadership came, I think, from being thrust into leadership more than, I was a born leader. I don't think I can agree with that so much, but life circumstances certainly put me in that arena. Forever grateful for it. And then here I am, vice president of my network marketing company, almost president of the world. No, I'm kidding.
I don't actually believe what you've just said there is correct. You're not the vice president of Pruvit, are you? You're the vice president of a certain department in Pruvit, not the same thing.
Can you tell me how you got thrust into that other career? What was anecdotes are always the best, but if there's a day or a moment where it was now you have to get on stage. Now you're a rep representing more than just your business.
Sure.
Maybe that day is when you started coaching or something. Yeah.
So my first time being on stage was actually, my first time being on stage, it really was a thrust into kind of thing. It was one of these things where the CEO of a company said, "What are you doing? Why is your business growing so fast? I want you to speak at this regional event." And I was like, speak at a regional event? I don't know how to speak at a regional event. But luckily I had, in the college I went to, you had to take public speaking as a semester. Everybody had to. And most people had panic attacks when they had to do public speaking 101. And I rather liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the idea of writing speeches and, the voice inflections and adding the humor and watching the audience pay attention instead of boring them and feeding off their energy and all of this. I think empathic people can be really, really good at public speaking.
You describe yourself as an empathic person? Really? Are you sure you're Jessie Lee Ward? Because she's definitely not an empathic person in my opinion. Watch some of my other videos regarding Jessie Lee and you might just see what I mean.
So at any rate, I just got thrown into it. She's like, I want to know how you're recruiting all these people. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to say. She said, just teach people what you're doing. I said, okay, I'll try. And I stumbled over it. I still remember it though. It was in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. I still remember what I wore and everything. So that's how I'm like, yeah, that was the first time for sure. And then I liked it. And then I became a corporate trainer. And I got to kind of travel the world doing that. Not the world, what am I talking about? I got to travel Tennessee and Ohio and Indiana doing doing that, just around, like in small town USA, basically.
So you didn't travel the world, just small town USA? Was that a Freudian slip? Was it a joke or was it a lie?
And then every time I was asked to speak in a corporate setting, I just really enjoyed doing it. And then it became, I started getting asked from big companies that weren't even in the network marketing space, hey, would you come speak for my company? Hey, I heard you really have incredible sales in your business. Would you speak for my team? Hey, I hear that you are an incredible recruiter. Hi, I heard that you can scale businesses. Hey, I heard you're the social media girl who's unbelievable. Can you teach my company how to grow social media? Hey, I own a real estate agency, or whatever those things are called, right? I own a real estate agency. Will you come please speak to my people? They don't know how to brand themselves. And I just kept saying yes, and people would pay and pay and pay and pay and pay. And I started realizing, whoa, I'm really good at this, and people get a lot of results doing this. And people ask me constantly, will you coach me? Will you coach me? Will you coach me? And I said, gee, I don't know. Am I a coach? Good Lord. But it became, I tried some one-on-one coaching for a while. The one-on-one coaching just couldn't scale. And then I realized, gosh, I actually have a really good passion for this. And I'm not trying to recruit everybody into my MLM like a lot of these network marketers are. It's like everyone they see, they're headhunting. I've never been that person. And I said, hey, if I can serve people and teach them and train them and show them how to build their business to make 6 or 7 figures a year and grow that, then that's what I want to do. And so that is the really short synopsis, birth into the bosslee Accelerator. But that's why I've done that. And I love it. It's really turned into a huge passion project. I'm kind of obsessed with it. So yeah.
Are you expensive?
I don't think so. I'm underpriced. I'm pretty underpriced. I'm really underpriced according to my coach. So I should raise my prices. That's a good reminder.
I'm the person always telling people to raise their prices. When I found out what my coach was charging me, I was like, that's not enough. Like $85 an hour or something. I was like, that's ridiculous. What?
Wow.
And I understand I'm hurting myself here by telling you you're not charging enough. But,
no, I actually appreciate you even saying that. Like, I love this conversation.
You're loving the conversation at the moment, but you've still got no idea that you're on an anti-mlm podcast. So that's not going to last, is it?
This is an important conversation for people to hear. So it's like, I really truly believe that you get what you pay for in anything. So, and it's stupid. It's almost stupid what I'm about to say. I know that I pay my coach $30,000 an hour.
Jessie Lee's coach is Ed Milet. No idea who that is. Whoever he is, I'm pretty certain he's not worth $30,000 an hour. I mean, personally, I think she's totally mad, but that's just my opinion.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, so I know. But let me tell you about the results I get from having this guy coach me, okay? It's ridiculous. It's like I'm able to tap into the network. I'm able to tap into his brain. I'm able to tap into his expertise. He's built things that I've wanted to build. And he helps and he guides me. It's a time machine. You know, you don't know how much time you have on this earth. Nobody does. So why are you diddle-daddling around, wasting your time trying to figure everything out when you're staring at somebody who's done exactly what you want to do? You should hire them. So I don't charge enough either. You said 85 an hour. My group coaching is nowhere near 85 an hour. That's it. Prices are going up. That's it. After this podcast, you better join now if anyone listening, 'cause that's it. The price has gone up.
We come out in September, so yeah.
All right, so they have
gone up.
Well, I don't know when my podcast with Ed Milet's coming out, but prices are going up before that goes out because whoo-wee. Yeah, this is everyone's last chance to join my accelerator at this cost.
So the prices are not going up when this podcast comes out. They're going up before your podcast with Ed Milet, whenever that's going to be. I'm sure people are going to be really upset about that.
Oh, that's hilarious. I just to be completely transparent, I have a book coming out in March on Atria, and I have this show where I talk a lot about anti-mlm stuff, mostly just the why does this industry exist where like no one really makes any money, but people just keep signing up anyway. Like it seemed like the dominant narrative should be like the true narrative. Would you just give me your take on the industry? Because you said you're a real proponent of it.
Sure. I love your honesty in saying that off the bat.
Did you see there how her happy, smiley demeanour really changed there? And her face looked as if it was saying, oh crap, this is an anti-mlm podcast. What on earth am I doing on this? So funny.
So I think it's like anything. I think some people are going to suck at everything they try to do except for what they're made to do, and then some people are going to be great at it. I also think not everybody has work ethic, but they want to compare things like they do. I don't think everybody has talent. I don't think everybody has skill sets. I don't think everybody's willing to learn. And that's not just network marketing. So it's like I look at waiting tables. Why was I the waitress that could always make way more money than everybody else? Well, I was personable. I was likable. I got to know people. I was smiling. I was charismatic. I got to know the menu better. I would upsell. I would cross-sell. I would take extra shifts. I would do what people weren't willing to do. Well, I look at how I'm going to be in network marketing. I joined. I said, 1% of people can make $1 million a year. I'm going to be the person that makes $1 million a year. I put in more hours. I went to more events. I took more trainings. I spent a lot more time. I made a lot more sacrifices. I got in all the right rooms. I did all the right things. I treated it like a business. And so I look at a lot of people who join network marketing, and the big problem with network marketing is it's an even playing field. Right? Nobody asks you, hey, are you a criminal? Hi, did you go to Yale or did you come from jail? Hi, what is your experience in something like this? Hey, have you done anything like this before? Hi, are you coachable, leadable, teachable? Do you have any sales experience? Have you ever recruited anybody before? Are you somebody who will show up to events? Are you somebody who blames and shames and justifies everybody with everything? Are you somebody who takes accountability for things that you do? Nobody asks any questions. Mm-hmm. They just say, oh, hey, you have $700, you're qualified. And well, that's the problem. And then also in network marketing, a lot of the big problem is people say, oh, it's really easy. You just join and you make money. Well, I just told you in 35 seconds before this, I've put in a ton of work. I learned how to do a lot of things. I built a lot of skill sets. So it's like anything. If you compare network marketing to real estate, the failure rate's almost identical.
How can you compare network marketing and a real estate business? There's no comparison between the two of them. So how can you say that the failure rate's the same? I don't agree with that at all.
But I don't really hear anybody saying that real estate is a scam. I hear a lot of people saying real estate's unbelievable. Okay, so is real estate a scam or is it unbelievable? I could ask you. If 90% of people...
No, I was just going to say, I think about the same thing with coaching. People talk about, the difference between a coach and a therapist, for example, is like, well, this person has a degree and a certification and a license and a board that, makes sure they're doing things by the book. And this other thing is, there's no rules basically, and no barrier to entry, and anyone can call themselves a life coach.
Well, it's the same in network marketing, right? It's the same.
Yeah.
Anybody can say, I'm the top network marketer. Anybody can say, I'm the best at what I do. Anybody can say, I make 6 figures. Anybody can say a lot of things, right? It's like, who's fact checking? Anyone can say I'm certified in whatever it is. So there is definitely a point to that. But 90% of people who have real estate licenses, to go back to your point of license, 90% of people with a real estate license have never sold a house.
Yeah.
You, Jessie Lee, are a perfectly fine example of someone who can say anything they want, aren't you? I'm the #1 network marketer in the world. You say that all the time, but there's absolutely no proof to support that.
I'll send you a copy of my book.
Yeah. Sure. I love it.
Yeah.
Can you see how much her demeanour has changed now? She's sitting there, not with a happy smiley face anymore, and she's got her arms crossed as if she's really angry. But the best is yet to come.
For next season. So can I ask about your style of coaching? I watched a lot of your videos, and I feel like your style is like, I don't want to say aggro, but very like, you're very boisterous, you're kind of tough. Was that a choice, or is that just like how you naturally are?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Do you pay for my coaching? Like in the accelerator?
Do I pay for your coaching?
Yeah, like, are you in the accelerator program?
No.
My coaching's not boisterous.
Oh, it isn't?
No, not at all.
That's so funny. Do you tell people that when they sign up? Like, you're not going to get the same thing that you see on
No, because that wouldn't be accurate either.
Before people sign up for your coaching, do you tell them that you're not the same Jessie Lee that they see online? No, why ever not? Are you not the person that you portray yourself to be online? You know, that boisterous person who can be aggressive at times. Every now and again you can be quite funny, but that's not your normal persona. So who do these people get in your coaching? Do they get Jessie Lee Ward or do they get bosslee? That's what I'd like to know.
It's okay.
Yeah, you were just saying that your coaching is different than what you might see online.
Yeah, because I think you just get snippets of people online, right? It's different in my coaching program. My coaching is super sincere. It's open. It's honest. It's conversational. Is it directive in regards to do this, get that? Yeah, sure. But I don't think people hire coaches so they can say, I don't know, like theoretically speaking, maybe you could try this in your business and then maybe that would work. No, I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? Today's training is on sales. Here's the training. But anybody who's part of my program would never describe my coaching. I think, in my opinion, I guess they could probably fill out a survey or something and let you know, but I don't think they would call it boisterous or aggressive or even tough. I don't think that's any of the languaging that they would use. Even in my one-on-one coaching, I'm not tough unless somebody says, I need you to whoop on me. And I'm like, okay, like, what does that mean? Like, what are you looking for here? And they're like, I need you to smack me around because I'm not doing what I need to do, and I don't know why I keep self-sabotaging. I'm like, all right, here comes passionate Jessie Lee, let's go. And that's about it. But no, I think I'm super open. I think that my coaching is probably really different than what you may be assuming it is. But I think I'm really different than people assume I am from the internet anyhow.
I do have to say there that I have been led to believe that Jessie Lee is very different from the person that she portrays herself as online.
So when you get to know me,
I think so. I mean, probably like if I go through the videos and look, it's like you talk a mile in a minute and you're very excited and it feels like really intense. Even like short videos. So I have a vibe that some coaches have, you know, like.
I'm not like I'm not a spirituality coach, you know, so I'm not one of these coaches.
And,
like, but yeah, I mean, I don't claim to be like a feminine energy coach.
I'm here still.
Okay. I don't claim to be, you know, someone who's going to just talk about how beautiful you are and wonderful you are and want to cuddle you. I'm the coach that you would hire if you're looking for actual results. So that I will say is true, but maybe that's why I attract males and females. I don't just attract women. Like I see a lot of these spirituality coaches right now, which nothing wrong with them, of course, because that's their niche, right? And they say, you know, join me and I'm going to teach you how to become more spiritual and more in alignment with your life. And that's just not what if you hire me as your coach in the accelerator, you're going to learn business skills. I'm going to show you how to make money. I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to show you how to, you know, take your business to the next level. We're not going to sit around and kumbaya. If that's what you're looking for, I don't know. I don't even know who to refer you to.
You're not going to just sit around and kumbaya. That's very condescending to Jane, in my opinion.
Because I don't, that's not me. But yeah, I'm actually probably.
How do you measure success for yourself and for your, I mean, this is like kind of a philosophical question, but like, what is success to you? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it, you know, amassing followers? Like, what makes a successful business person?
Well, what makes a successful business person and what success is to me are two different things. So what success is to me is joy. It has nothing to do with money.
Okay.
So I feel joyful when I'm able to live the life I want. I feel joyful when I'm able to spend more time with my dogs. I feel joyful when I'm able to travel the world and not worry about what it costs to do so. I feel joyful when I'm able to give a ton of money to a lot of people. I feel joyful when I'm able to spend a lot of time with my godchildren. I feel joyful when I'm able to spend time with my family. I feel joyful when I'm able to relax and read a book and hang out at home. So, and all these other things. That's success to me. So creating a life that allows me to do that is what success is. Success to other people, sure, they're going to say it's money. But I think that those are people who tend to not really actually have success. And the reason I say that is because I chased money. Sure. I thought that money was going to fix everything. I thought money was the great, the great whatever. But it's not. It's important, but it's important because it allows you to give it away, in my opinion. So, but for me, success is not about how much money I make or how many followers I have. I do want to leave an impact, obviously, but I think I do so based off of chasing that joy.
I don't agree with you there, Jessie Lee, because you are always bragging about living in a penthouse and driving a Lamborghini and having access to private boxes at football stadiums and baseball stadiums, and the privilege that you've got to be able to go on a private jet. So I think you brag a lot about how much money you earn, but you're saying money is not the main motivator for you. Joy is?
Can you picture a much smaller life for yourself?
No,
someday?
Of course not. No. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by a much smaller life?
Like just living alone in a cabin in the woods with your dog.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But I have 2 dogs and a wonderful partner.
Or both of your dogs.
And we couldn't live in a little cabin because there's already 3 kids and, we could put them outside, and let them run, but that might be frowned upon.
Yes, that would definitely be frowned upon because they're not your kids, are they? And I can't ever see their mother letting you be a part of their lives.
So I think I'm projecting because I have this fantasy for myself. I've been in media for like 25 years, and it gets, there's got to be like some peace at the end because it's just such a hustle and a struggle all the time. But it's worth it.
Well, so that goes back to joy, though. So then you almost identify with success the same way I do. So like my house is a sanctuary. So like I chose not to have I had the 6-bedroom house. I had all these fancy things. I had 5 cars at a time plus the car dealership, which I still have the car dealership, but that's neither here nor there. Now I just live in the penthouse, which, okay, fine, it's a penthouse, but it's just me, my dogs, my man, and a bunch of plants, like I don't hear anything. It's a luxury penthouse. So there's what is it? Soundproofing in every room, not just me, but like I don't hear nothing from nobody. It's amazing here. So I have my little sanctuary here. I have a private garage, so I get to exit from a private garage. I don't have to see anybody if I don't want to see anybody. And so I've created my own little bubble. But so I guess this is like my cabin in the woods. That's 15 minutes from the airport.
But money means nothing to you. Building this business is not all about money. I would have to totally disagree with that from what you've just said. But then again, in your opinion, Jessie Lee, I'm jealous of you and I'm a hater. Although I'm neither of those things, but in your opinion, I am.
But no, I like stuff like that. I like nature. I like chilling out. I like doing all that stuff. So yes, I like things like that. Slowing down, if that's what you're asking. I'm in that stage of life right now. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you probably have to be right now. Taking care of yourself, not pushing too hard. Couple questions because we got like 5-6 minutes left. One, I did hear all about the Colombia trip. Any more notes on that? I saw some of your response videos, but I'm not like in Facebook or anything, so I don't really know much about that other than there was like a lot of chatter on TikTok about it being kind of brutal.
Sure. Well, what have you heard? I want to know about the trip because it sounds like people on TikTok think they were on the trip.
Yeah, that it was a lot like that. There was just a brutal hike, and it was a lot more intense, and people weren't prepared for it. Basically.
Well, I've noticed.
I talked to Aaron. Yeah, I talked to Aaron Bees.
Ooh, look at her face now! Wow, her demeanour has really changed now, hasn't it? Oh, that's hilarious. I am going to cover what she says about Colombia as she continues on about it, but I just had to stop it there and point out Jessie Lee's face.
A bit about it. But there's been...
Was she on the trip? Because I think I was on the trip, but I don't remember her being on the trip.
She wasn't, no.
Interesting.
Erin B, Julie Joe, Savannah Marie, Cece Suarez, and quite a few others, including myself, made the video about the Colombia trip, and Jessie Lee took it down. But if you would like to watch the full thing, you can find it up there. I'll link it if you want to go and watch it. But my point is, none of us needed to be on that trip to know what happened, because in that video you yourself told us what happened.
So TikTok journalism and YouTube journalism are very interesting to me, because it seems to me like there tends to be little to no research done whatsoever.
That's a very interesting point that you bring up there, Jessie Lee, isn't it? Little to no research done. Well, how did you end up on an anti-MLM podcast then? What research was done about that? Because one thing's for sure, you did not know that this was an anti-MLM podcast. So perhaps you ought to carry out your own research. Just a thought there.
And a lot of crazy, salacious stories come out because they get views, right? And views make you money. I also find it interesting that these people have to use my name in order to get any views, but I guess that's kind of normal, right?
Content creators don't need to use your name to get views. Erin B's gets hundreds of thousands of views on videos that are absolutely nothing to do with you. You are not the subject of them. Why don't you go and look at her channel and see?
So first thing I would do if I were to call Colombia an aggressive hike is I'd probably check the topography of Cartagena. Cartagena has no hills, has no mountains. How could it be a brutal hike if there's no hills?
I don't know.
Cartagena doesn't have to have hills or mountains to be classed as a brutal hike. The reason it was classed as brutal is because it was nearly 90 degrees. They were walking in direct sunlight along the side of the road, and they thought they were only going for 2 hours. But oh no, you tricked them and made them go for 15 hours. Your words, not mine. As you will see if you watch the video that I've just asked you to look at, which is linked up there. You'll see the words are coming out of Jessie Lee's mouth. We are just repeating them.
I'm not sure where exactly it was, but I know that's the town you were staying in, but I don't know exactly where it was.
The entire topography of the entire region of Cartagena has no hills, no mountains. So immediately untrue. Second thing is nobody asked if anybody had asked anything about maybe waivers or asked about health anything or asked about going on the trip or what kind of trip it was, because everybody who talked about it wasn't on the trip. So I don't really feel any need to defend myself about something that was an unbelievable leadership experience of people who, all 16 people, had an amazing time, made content about how incredible it was, made content about how much it shifted them as leaders. The one person that's a diabetic has had stable sugars ever since then, has completely transformed her entire life. And credits a lot of it to that trip. So if I'm supposed to apologize for it, geez.
You're saying that everyone on the trip made a video about how fantastic it was and how much it changed their life. Well, that's not quite accurate, is it, Jessie Lee? Because I commented on a video from Christy and she doesn't say it's magical or fantastic. In fact, she tells the truth and says that it was terrible. And she even disagrees with you on some of the things that you've said. Now, that is a separate video to the one I was directing you to just a few seconds ago. So if you would like to see the video about what Christy says about the Colombia trip, I'll link that up there as well.
No. I don't think I was asking for that. I was just asking what your perspective, or just what your experience was.
My perspective is that it sounds like people with very bad journalism have gotten in your ear, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, look, I talked to a lot of people.
Jane is an award-winning journalist. She is going to talk to a lot of people in the course of her job. So if she's going to be talking to you, then she probably did her research, unlike you, and spoke to people before she spoke to you. That's good journalism, isn't it?
So,
none of you were on the trip, right? Like, you haven't had any conversation with anybody who went?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody who was there. But I'd love to. If you have some names, I'd love to speak to some folks who were there. So, okay, then back to your like accelerator. Can you tell me some success stories, and I was also thinking like your most surprising client, like has someone come to you from a completely different world, and you've been able to, create change for them?
Sure. So I've had a pretty amazing, well, it's been amazing. I have, let's see, we've got over 1,600 people in the accelerator. So the testimonials are wild. Everybody can go to bosslee.com and they can read some of them before they make a decision if they'd like to. Did you say
1,600?
1,600.
You've got 1,600 people in your accelerator, but when you add up your followers on TikTok and Instagram, and the fact that the last time I looked, you had 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,600 is not a lot in comparison, is it? It's probably about 1%, I would have thought.
Wow. Okay.
And so it's amazing. It's been incredible watching people transform not only as people, it depends what level they're in. So the Silver Accelerator is all mindset coaching. And that level is fun. It's two times a month. I jump on there. I do mindset coaching with them. They also get a social media course and or a mindset course, I suppose. Now we shifted some of the training last week. But anyway, so that is awesome. I love it. Some of the shifts in here are just people saying, I've known what I need to do in business. I know the skills. I know what I have to do. I just don't know what's wrong with me and why I can't get off my hump and get it done. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, hey, no problem. Like, some of us just need to go back into the personal development world a little bit. Sometimes we just need to shift our mindset a little bit. And for me, I love doing that call. I'd recommend everyone on planet Earth join the Silver Accelerator. It's super inexpensive anyway. But I would recommend anybody do it because even for me, going through what I'm doing with the whole cancer journey that I'm destroying, it's amazing. I'm so proud of myself, quite frankly. But I'm gonna thank me for being me. No, it reminds me every day. You get to shift your perspective. You get to be the person who motivates and inspires others to do more in their life. And then when you have that, then you can go boom and you can go into the skill set. So the transformations from that are a lot of people, sometimes even very large leaders, $1 million earners, who are coming on this call and going, I just needed you to kind of, remind me how to set up my life and my mentality for success. And then the Gold Accelerator, some of these are really cool. These are the testimonials that come in. They don't shock me. None of it shocks me because I don't teach in theory. Yeah. So a lot of coaches, I think this is one of the things that is just, it's silly to me. A lot of coaches will teach and train on things they've never had success in. Well, in my accelerator program, I only teach and train on things that I've done. So I get on there and then people go, oh my gosh, my social media following increased by 2,000% in a week. I'm like, yeah, duh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just made an extra $4,000 in my first month of the accelerator. I'm like, was I supposed to be shocked? Or like I did a whole training on how to
Can you give me yeah.
Like I did a training. I said there was a training one week. I said I will guarantee you will get a brand deal if you have under 1,000 followers if you follow what I tell you to do in this training. And I did. And the people came back and they're like, I got a brand deal from this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, boom, shakalaka, I told you. And then the platinums are nuts. The platinums are cool. These are the leaders, these are people in all kinds of different professions. A lot of brick and mortar owners are on my platinum program, although obviously top network marketers, a lot of top real estate agents and investors are as well. But some of my favorite testimonials, like I've got a girl, she owns a candy company. And I've helped her scale her candy company, and she's trying to credit me for 4 months adding $500,000 in revenue to her business. I said, well, I taught you and I trained you how to do it, sure, but you did it. It wasn't me. I'm not taking credit for it.
I'm happy to see that you finally answered Jane's question. Took a while to get to the answer though, didn't it? You were too busy bragging on how your accelerator works as opposed to answering the question, in my opinion.
Or my platinums also get meetups with me, and at the meetups, not only do they get to meet each other, these are all 6 and 7 figure earners, sometimes 8, or there's a couple 8 figure earners in there too. And then I bring my friends, like my big old business badass friends, and we hang out, and I show people, listen, y'all need to shift your network. You don't have enough powerful people in your network. That's the reason why your net worth is low. And so there's some people who are like, I didn't know if I should spend that kind of money to join. I'm glad I joined. And now look at my business, look at my life. So, I mean, testimonials, we could be on here for 7 weeks straight.
Yeah, I'll look at the website for sure. So I know we're out of time, but I have one last question.
Sure.
We'll have a ton more questions, but while we have this half hour. So could you, I've been interviewing so many people for this season, and the common refrain is like, once you learn this stuff, could you give me a taste of, like, practically speaking, like, what are you teaching people? Like, you're not, like, I understand probably there's some mindset stuff, but is there, when I was thinking about getting a coach, I wanted someone to, like, call me every single morning and tell me what to do with my day. Like, at 9 o'clock, you're going to do this. At 10 o'clock, you're going to do this. At 11 o'clock, like, how specific is it, and how much hand-holding is there? And can you give us, like, a little peek into what, like, the skills that you're teaching, what they are?
Sure. So it depends. So you're not going to get mindset coaching unless you're in silver. Silver is specifically for mindset, which I already described. But in the gold, this is skill based. So my gold training, which is my middle level training, this is exact tactics. This is not frou-frou, take control of her life, or no. This is your A through Z. This is what you need to do this. So, like, this entire month's training is sales. So it's go out here, say this, do this, boom, 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 boom. Here's your game plan. Last month was AI. So every single week in the month of June of 2023, it was every single week. Plug right now. Like, I would share my screen. I'd say, here, go to this AI program. We're going to type it in together. We're going to do it together. And I'd show them how to populate all kinds of different stuff and different types of AI, because obviously there's so many. So, and then my platinum coaching, these are high level people.
I'm asking for a friend here, but is this coaching all of your work, or has it been repackaged from things that you've learned from other coaches?
I don't believe high level people need somebody to call them. Like, the thought of me hiring a coach to call me every day and tell me how to do my day, like, girl, no, I don't need that. Like, I'm highly motivated. I'm highly inspired. I'm highly excited about my life. I've never needed somebody to say, hi, okay, now let's have a miracle morning, and let's move our body, and let's drink some water, and let's brush our teeth, and let's now go to the kitchen and make our juice. No.
Must be
like,
nice,
you're looking for a babysitter.
Must be nice. I am. I'm looking for, like, a babysitter or a wife. I do want someone to take charge of all that stuff, to be honest with you.
At least you're honest. No, that's,
and I feel successful. I do feel successful and happy in my career at the same time. But I would prefer to be taken, for that stuff to not be on my plate.
Well, then you need an assistant. Mom. You don't need a coach. You need an assistant.
That's true. Okay. All right. I'll put a call out.
I mean, you're never going to have a coach who's going to, like, that's...
Yeah.
Or maybe a therapist. I don't know.
I have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like the practical skills, though, that you're talking about teaching. All right. Is there anything else that I'm missing, or that you want to talk about before we end the call here?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. It's fun to speak to you in person. It feels like kind of bizarre because I only know you from the internet.
Yeah, well, a lot of people only know me through the internet. That's okay, though. That's where you can start the relationship and then take it where you want to take it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, and thanks to your assistant as well for helping us coordinate this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Chris is the best.
Okay.
You should get a Carissa, but not my Carissa.
I need a Carissa. Exactly.
Mine. Although she does not tell me when to wake up or to brush my teeth or any of those things.
Is she in the background there?
Of course. She's Carissa. She's ready to tell me that it's time to brush my teeth.
Hi, Carissa.
Or eat or something. Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a great week.
Thanks. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I really felt at the end there that Jessie Lee was really taking the piss out of Jane, and it totally wasn't warranted. Now, Jane has gone from the podcast, but as I said at the beginning, Jessie Lee carries on recording even though Jane didn't know it was being recorded by her, and she carries on recording. So let's hear what she has to say about Jane now that Jane's not there.
So I'd like to first of all say I'm really glad we asked about defamation in their little contract.
I don't believe what you signed or agreed to was a contract.
Carissa had a bad feeling about these people. I was like, oh, they're anti-mlmers.
Do I ever sit here when you're on a podcast?
Never.
Never. I have a weird feeling.
Yeah, I'm very glad we're saving this live. So, what would you like me to speak on? I'll stay on and answer your questions. Note to self, do not subscribe to this podcast, Leah says. Is that for real? Was she for real? Oh, gosh. But listen, they try to rattle you. This is kind of like their thing. And it's impossible when you stand in your truth, right? So...
Where do you get over yourself, Jessie Lee? Jane wasn't trying to rattle you, as you put it. She is an award-winning journalist who is making a series about MLMs. So she came to you in all good faith to do a serious podcast where she wanted to learn more about the MLM industry from your perspective.
Yeah, she's looking for a babysitter or something. I'm not totally sure what she's looking for, but I'm very glad this was fully recorded on my Facebook and on my TikTok, and I'll upload it on Instagram too. I stayed calm because what am I supposed to not be calm about? Like, I'm very proud of what I've accomplished, and nothing I do is scammy, and to call me an aggressive coach when she's never paid me a dime.
From my recollection, Jane did not call you an aggressive coach. She asked you if you were an aggressive coach. Big difference.
And to get her media resources from somebody who hates me and makes their living off of hate videos of me is a little, I think she called it aggro. I think that's a little aggro.
There you go again, talking about Erin, and she doesn't hate you. She says that in any video she makes about you, and so do the rest of us. None of us hate you, but then in your own deluded little mind you probably think we do, but that's just not true.
So I'll save it only because I know if I don't save it, they're going to make YouTube videos about it anyway that will be psychotic and then whatever. So I'm so glad. Oh, sorry, Wakili. Wait, why did you hear that? Fake deaf. I knew it. Anyway, so I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Even though some of the things that Jessie Lee Ward says drives me absolutely insane and grinds my gears and can be quite upsetting at times, I have to say that I really did have fun making this video, and that's all I've got to say on that subject. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please give it a thumbs up. If you want to support my channel, then please subscribe, as it will help me to put out more anti-MLM content. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.